Hello. There's
Hi.
the water.
There's the water. You were just like, should we go ahead and start? And I was like, well, maybe wait for the water so you don't just have to get up immediately. Oh, but you guys, I gotta be real with you. I've been having so many big spiritual things happening lately, and we had this like really big conversation just before we got on, and I'm like in this really like whoosh, and it's good, but you know, we were trying to decide like what we wanted to talk about and what questions we wanted to ask, and I just feel like we just need to be open and feel what energies are coming through and draw a card. And so I just want us to pull a card. I like questions.
That's
like
fine. No, that's
focuses,
fine.
But
That's
today
fine.
I just have this
Okay.
intuitive anchor that's just like, nah, man. Just see what they're
Okay.
gonna say something we need to hear. And if we try to shoehorn them, give me a fish. Quachow. So the
Sorry for laughing.
No, you're fine.
Keep a straight face.
My face is very straight. No, my face is really not straight. Okay, so we got.
I have to remember this is for me too.
Wow, this is so hard, you guys. I love you all, and Okay.
This is what happens when you follow your intuition, Erica.
I know. So we got this card that says Mother Healing on it. Mother Healing. And it says, as your feelings toward your mother heal, your desires manifest more rapidly and accurately.
Oh, well, that makes so much sense, because if you're having trouble with inhabiting the archetype of the mother, you would have to heal your understanding of what a mother is in order to feel at all okay being
This is the thing. Like, I mean, this is my life right now.
This is like we already had this conversation.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's some context, guys. I will be brave. I will be honest. We don't have a good way of showing
Yes, we
this.
do.
Yes, we do. Ta-da! Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get for right now, I think. Or you can do better. So I was talking this morning about a lot of things about my mom, and I don't know how y'all's relationships are with your mom, but mine's interesting. I don't really want to like divulge super deep details because there's a lot. But basically, part of what I was talking about is because of my relationship with my mom, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Because of that relationship, like I have a really hard time embracing adulthood and womanhood and being a grown-up and like what that even means, because like my image of adult women was terrifying when I was a child. Not that my mom's terrifying. Well, I don't want to talk about that, but you know, I never had a like super secure idea of what I wanted being a grown-up to look like. And now that I'm like an adult, I'm having a hard time being like, oh, this is what it means to be an adult, and this is what it's like to be a grown-up, and just dealing with a lot of like trying to struggle through that. And so yeah, that's good.
Sorry.
It's cool.
Okay.
But yeah, Mother's Day.
Was that the mermaid card that we needed?
That was the mermaid card we got, and yes, it was definitely the mermaid card we needed.
My mother and my role is reversed. My mother has been the child, and I have to take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, I'm not identifying with that. I'm just acknowledging that.
Well, no,
when I say
I'm identifying with that.
Yes, but I'm just making the disclaimer on the off chance that my mother watches
See,
these.
that's the thing that I'm
not
so scared of, is that if
acknowledging
my mom watches this.
Have you been honest with your mother about... I mean, like...
I don't think there's any way that my mother does not know that our relationship is complicated and stormy. Yeah. I don't think that we've
if she
ever
knows
had
that
an
it's
open
complicated and stormy, she might as well know that
it.
you'd want to heal it, right? It's not like we're here talking shit about our moms.
That's
true. It's like we're here trying to figure out how to fix things.
Yeah, but it's just hard to not to feel like talking about wanting to fix things isn't accidentally talking shit about our moms, you know? Like, and I really don't want to talk shit about my mom, but I also, like, want to be real about what's up so that we can, like, move forward. But then I, like, also don't because avoidance feels good. Well, I want to say thank you because I want this space to be open and healing and available to everyone. And I feel like this mermaid card was, like, unapologetically for me. and set the tone for the day in a way that's very, like...
But, like, it's, you know...
visceral.
Yeah, it's for you. But it's not like we can't all glean something from that.
We've had a lot of people talking about mothering mothers, which is really big.
I really believe, like, I don't know what it is, but it always seems to me that the people who gather here together, like, we always have a lot of common struggles. And it always seems to, like, I've never drawn a card on one of these things that somebody was like, oh, that's
garbage.
Totally, absolutely not relevant to anything in my life right now. Why am I here? Or maybe they just, sign off. Maybe they just sign off, which is the right thing to do. You know, if it doesn't resonate, walk away. Don't hold me accountable. Like, don't be mad at me for saying something that resonates with, I don't know. If you thought that I was saying something that resonated with a lot of people and that was dangerous because it was wrong and it was actually a bad idea, I would want to know about that. But if it just feels not right for you, we're going such a tangent. It's like, it's this whole, there's a whole pattern. You know, even if you don't have a broken relationship with your literal, unicorn, that would be, the other one. This, yes, over here. I don't know what we want to do with this.
Shuffle and pull a card.
Just pull a card and talk about it.
Just pull a card and talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so, do you mind shuffling those while I talk a little bit about, like, my...
Go for it. And then, talk a little bit and then pick an emoji at some point.
Yeah.
And then when you're done talking and I see the emoji, then we'll pull a card.
Yeah. So... a week
I'm also
ago
gonna
or so.
pour tea at the same time.
Yeah, please do. A week ago or so, I was on here and I talked about how I wanted to know more about my great grandmother, and I called my mom, and we talked about it, and I learned. She told me all these amazing stories about my great grandmothers on both sides, like both of her grandmothers, and they were so cool. Like all these really amazing things, but one thing came up in conversation that was like whoosh, my sound effects seem silly in the context of things that are actually serious, but she told me that her mom's mom, so my grandmother I never knew. I knew my great grandmother, but not my grandmother, because my grandmother passed away when I was way too little. But my great-grandmother would tell my mom stories about raising my mother. My great-grandmother would tell my mom stories about raising my grandmother. And my mom and my great-grandmother were able to, come to more of an understanding of my grandmother because, oh, wow, look at the cardinal.
There's a cardinal staring straight at us.
It is beautiful and right in the window, and it's just
literally right in the center of the window.
And I got the Hierophant. Okay, moving on. Sorry, this is just...
Wait, when did you get the Hierophant?
Hierophant. Remember a while ago.
Oh, okay. Not more recently.
Not again more recently.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted because I'm excited.
I just felt called to look at it.
What'd you get?
The 10 of Cups.
Okay. We need to pick an emoji so that we can actually talk about things.
I want to hear your question. You gotta.
I gotta get to the place.
You gotta get your words out.
Thank you. My great grandmother, and my mother were able to bond over my grandmother's experience because my grandmother had mental illness, and it was during a time when there wasn't support for it, and so it was this really big wound in my maternal line that just wasn't ever actually. I don't know. Healed.
Acknowledged?
And yes, all the things. And it's something where, I'm dealing with wounds caused by ththose relationships. And it's all very complicated, but it is something where when there's a history of that kind of trauma and there's a pattern of loss in those relationships, it does trickle down. And we all feel it. And getting to the place where you can heal from those things is really hard. But let's pick an emoji. Let's do the magic sparkles, the little yellow sparkles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's my favorite emoji that exists.
There we go. Sparkles.
Oh, okay.
It's the moon.
It is. It is the moon.
Ugh.
The actual moon.
The moon is all about, like, mysteries and seeing, like, being in the darkness, but still, like, still moving forward.
The moon, for me, usually indicates that whatever we're seeing is not well lit, and therefore we're not seeing the complete picture. And so, on the one hand, we're left with the responsibility to divine what the rest of the picture is. On the other hand, we can't ever know, and we have to acknowledge that our perception is skewed. And that we don't have a complete picture.
Yeah.
And so I guess I might just say, you know, whatever is on your mind that you're struggling with, just know that, like, you may not have a complete representation of what exactly it is that you're trying to understand. And especially if man, my thoughts keep jumping ahead, and then I go back to catch my words, and then I lose my thoughts.
I was having that problem earlier. So something I want to say while you get your brain straight, if that's okay. Do you mind?
Go for it.
Like, immediately, like, the moon is just like this icon of
motherhood also. Sorry.
Motherhood and the divine feminine, and so many goddesses are tied into different phases of the moon and all these things. And, you know, I've been following this journey of, like, tapping into these relationships because, like, with the moon cycles, like, it started with the moon is also,
I feel like these two cards fit so perfectly together because the moon is also that mom energy. Yep. Oh, yeah. I wonder, like, when you sent that relative to when we were saying
I know, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like this is just a call to, like, tap into the divine feminine and lean more on my relationship with you know, goddess magic and things.
Oh, she said jinx, lol, because we said it.
Yeah, I saw that. That's part of what made me, like, stop and reread. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Sorry, I got some news.
That's good. It's all good.
Yeah, and so also, I don't know if you caught that, but while Erica was talking and I was shuffling, I just at one point felt really called to flip over the top card. And it was the Ten of Cups. And I kind of see that as saying, like, you get this through this. Or, like, well, and actually we were just talking about the Ten of Cups before we started Morning Ritual, because I am always thinking about the Suit of Cups and about how if the Ace of Cups is, like, the concept or the archetype of fulfillment from within, or, like, the fulfilled soul, the sacred vessel, then the 10 is, like, that ideal represented across individuals in the material world. And that's, I mean, the highest ideal, right? Is, like, all of us being so secure in ourselves and in our relationships, and so able to trust each other that we can allow ourselves to be fulfilled from within without having to constantly be on the defensive, or worse, on the offensive. And that kind of, that, like, you know, we can, not that this is a one-step journey or one-stop shop, but that you can start moving towards that by reconnecting to your mother, and to the archetype of mother, And that may not necessarily mean reconnecting to your mother, although it probably means forgiving your mother. Usually forgiveness is helpful. And connecting to the cycles of the moon and to what that means in you and for you, as well as acknowledging that you don't have a complete image, that we don't have, you know, in the 10 of Cups, none of the 10 cups is the Ace of Cups. But together they come close, and each of the 10 cups is a manifestation of the archetype of the Ace of Cups. Does this make sense?
I think I'm following. Well, I'm gonna read what this
they say.
Today is your mom's birthday. Oh, happy birthday to your mom.
Happy birthday, Wayne's mom. Embrace your magic while knowing all dark
birthday?
That has imprinted. You better figure that out.
I'm very nervous. I need to figure that out.
That has imprinted on you ancestrally. Purify your authentic self. My mom's birthday is October 15th.
Shoot. I'm really nervous. I've forgotten that. Oh well. Okay, so when talking about the 10 of Cups in context with this, like the idea that like we each have. So Vervain was telling me this morning, because I was talking about like my feeling of disconnect of the self and the soul from my tarot readings, and I felt like the idea of the self in and of itself was not like some like everything in the tarot felt like something.
Well,
that you
there
could
is
do
no
with
self that's separate from its container.
It's true. But what I was trying to say,
sorry,
it's cool.
Oh.
What I was trying to say was that I've been doing a lot of work on myself, and one of the things that I've been feeling is just that like everything in the tarot is something that you do, or a relationship you have, or a direction that you send yourself, or a focus that you give, but it's not necessarily the thing itself. It's not necessarily the you that is doing all of the things, or like engaging with the different relationships or whatever. And
the court cards are though also. Sorry.
It's okay. Yes, but even then, those are. I feel like even those are sometimes even more poignantly like ways in which yourself can live, not necessarily self specifically. Like they're very clear. Like
okay, yeah, that's fair.
Like
they're aspects of the self.
Yeah.
They're not the self as a whole, which I think the Ace of Cups is.
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly what I was getting around to, was that like she pointed out that the Ace of Cups is a representation of the self as a whole, which I think is a really, really cool way of looking at it. But then looking at the 10 of Cups as like there are 10 people, each of them have a cup, each cup is an Ace of Cup, and we are coming together and sharing all of our cups, and through the presence of all of our full cups, our cups are then fuller. Like that's a really cool way of thinking about it. And like something that I think is definitely true is that like if we're going to do this work in our maternal lines and in our relationships, like we cannot be solely responsible for these things, but we can bring our full cup to the table. And if everybody brings their full cup and everybody comes and everybody like I don't know, like meets this energy and seeks healing and with their mother and their grandmother and their great-grandmother and whatever else and wherever their cracks are, like, and we all do that, then we can bring that to the table, but we're all responsible for our own cup, kind of.
Yeah. Bring your cup to my table and I will fill it up.
Except
bring your cup to my table.
You can't fill up other people's cups. They gotta fill up their own cup. They gotta like do their own self stuff.
I will fill it up. As long as I am able, I will always fill your cup.
Yeah. Man, so many feels, you guys. This has been a big morning for me. Thank you for like making space, working with me. Man, it got like really windy outside.
If you want some oolong, I will put it in your cup.
We're drinking red tea.
I know, but if you want some oolong, I will put it in your cup. And if I'm taking too long, just you be sure that it's right side up. That is my tea song.
I like your tea song. It makes me happy. I'm sorry that I'm having too many feels to fully, like, just let you sing your song. I'm just like, but I'm thinking about things, Vervain. We can't just have a nice song moment.
It's like, not just a nice song moment.
I know.
It's exactly on topic.
I know. It is exactly on topic. Nice song moment. It's exactly what it is, but, like.
Exactly. And it's like I want to, can I talk to you? Can I just talk about the Suit of Cups today?
Talk about the Suit of Cups today.
Do you guys see why it's so hard to edit these down into highlights videos? These are so packed full of content. It's really hard. Okay. Excuse me. Here's our 10. Let me just, here.
Well, we have
keep them entertained for just a half a second or something. 78 seconds.
I'm really good at just being wildly entertaining spontaneously. I could tell a joke.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So this is my joke. Are you ready for my joke? All right. So there was a guy, and he decided that that he really wanted a pet. So he decided to go to the pet store, and he's looking around. He sees like all the gerbils and the puppies and the kitty cats, and he's like, I'm not really feeling it. But then he sees this cage with a cover on. He's like, hey, what's that? And the guy's like, oh, that's our parrot. You don't want our parrot. It's not a good idea. And the guy's like, no, I think I really want the parrot. So he goes and buys the parrot, takes the parrot home, takes the cover off the cage, and immediately the parrot starts screaming at him, just like insulting him, insulting his house and his mother and his job and all these things. This goes on for 3 days straight. And the guy's like, oh my gosh, I cannot deal with this parrot anymore. So he goes up to the bird, opens the cage, grabs the parrot, and throws the bird in the freezer. Slams the door. And the bird starts screaming. And then the bird gets real quiet. And the guy's like, oh snap, I didn't want to hurt him. I feel kind of bad about that. So he opens up the door, and the parrot's just standing there. And the parrot hops out on his arm, and he says,